Hello, community. So normally I don't want to do a video on something everybody's talking about. I like to look for different things in gaming that most people just aren't talking about. But this time around, I'm going to talk about something that's blown up on every forum board, on every gaming website today, and on YouTube. And that is simply people freaking out over the fact that Game in the UK was doing this press thing where they were getting, an FAQ, and they asked them about next generation third-party game prices. And they said EA was the only one to set it. And it comes out, they were, the equivalent over there, and that would equal $80 over here in the United States. And everybody's gone crazy. Apparently people, I'm not surprised that fanboys or some gamers go absolutely crazy on this news, because the truth of the matter is, apparently people forget other generations, that, like beginning of last generation, originally the prices on everything else were higher than they originally were. That EA might have several reasons for just setting the price for that right now. One may be simply that they want to get the games in the system so that maybe people can pre-order them or whatever, and they just set a fake price just to get them in there. Maybe they're simply waiting for the competition to see what other third-party developers set their next-generation game prices at. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument that they did set $80. Let's say it's next generation. They're going to charge you $8 again. The first argument some of you are going to make who do not live in the United States of America is a valid one. Now, a lot of other countries in the world pay a lot more than $60 a video game. There's the truth. A lot of people who live in a certain country don't look outside their doors. That a lot of the people pay more than $60 a game. That during the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis era, there were games $80, $90, $100. And people still bought it. If it's a very popular series, let's be honest here. Let's say EA came out with Battlefield 4 and they said they're charging 70 instead of 60. Despite what you may think, the fanboys who love those games are going to pay 10 extra bucks. They're just going to play that game and nothing else. And $10 more, that's not a bad investment for them. You think this is not true, but the truth of one of the things that gamers don't like to argue is supply and demand. A basic business fundamental. That is, you charge more based on demand. So based on you release so much supply to keep demand high. So one of the things that video game companies don't do very well is gauge supply versus demand, meaning they release just enough supply to keep demand really high. A lot of times they flood the market with too many and demand drops, right? Well, supply and demand is simply if there are enough people out there who want to pay that price and you're going to make tons of money, because business's job is to make a product, make money. Not make a product, make the fans happy, and lose money. Now, there are times where companies are able to make a product, make the fans happy, and still make money, right? Now, EA's hated, so automatically if someone mentions EA, people get mad. They're like the evil empire, right? People hear the Empire Star Wars theme the minute you mention EA, right? But truthfully, I don't think it'll be 80. I think it'll be 60. But there are another argument that people, again, aren't making for the 80 price point was that even in this current generation, they're spending $20, $30, $40 million to make a AAA title. The development costs are doubling. That's a lot of money for them. Now, you're going to say if to make a good game, people will buy that. Well, if you can make a good game where 5 million people are going to buy the game, then you can easily spend that money and not worry about it, right? But again, I don't believe EA is going to charge $80. I think this is this could just be trolling the fans, and then if they did that, it worked perfectly because everybody's talking about it, right? But again, if they, let's say they charge $80 a game, would I buy their games? And the answer would be no. Now, here's one thing I was thinking of when I thought about $80 a game. Let's say EA goes down this road here. Okay, just here in this country. Other countries, I don't know what that price would equate to, but I'm sure even gamers in other countries aren't happy because that would just mean they'd raise their prices. In other countries, game price, for those who are like, why are their game prices higher? Could be higher taxes in their country, could be how the exchange rate between the American dollar versus their currency. It could just be EA gouging money and they know people will pay for it. But let's say they charge $80 a game. Here's what I was thinking. They charge $80 for a brand new game. GameStop sells their used copy for $60. You know what you'd be doing, right? You may hate GameStop then, but you may love GameStop if that were to happen. Because you're like, well, I'd rather pay $60 than $80. Again, I don't believe this is going to happen, but if we were to go down this road, because we see game sites all the time, right, that their prices are wrong, that, especially, usually it's more like limited editions that's wrong, but sometimes the regular game price is wrong. So, What do you guys think? Do you think this is just all a farce that people are wasting their time? What would you think if EA went to $80 a game? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts below, and I will see you soon for another video.